Good morning, DarrenDaily friends. So this morning, I'm going to pull another clip from a private advisory session I did for a large network of mortgage professionals. I think these answers will also help you navigate our ever-changing world. The question that was asked is this: what pivotal skills must a leader hone to weather the storm of difficult times in order to emerge triumphantly in the face of adversity? So here's the advice that I gave.
My parents divorced when I was 18 months old. My mother never wanted kids, so when she left, she just handed me to my father, walked out the front door, never looked back, right? And my dad was only 23 years of age when I was born, so he didn't have a clue of what to do either, right? He was a university football coach, so he only knew how to parent like he coached football. And like the Tom Hanks movie, A League of Their Own, there's no crying in baseball. Well, there's certainly and most definitely no crying in football, so there was no crying in our household. You got used to hearing two things in our house: either stop your sniveling and tough it out, or keep crying and I'll give you something to cry about, which the last one always baffled me. Anyway, the point is, I was taught to control my emotions, to disconnect from what I was feeling and handle most situations mentally. And I found that many people of my generation, probably like the way you grew up, Gary, and most definitely those that are listening, were raised with a very similar philosophy, right? The term emotional came to mean weak, out of control, even childish. Don't be a baby, we say to the little boy who's crying on the playground. Leave him alone, let him work it out, as we admonish the little girl who runs over to try to help the little boy. On the other hand, our abilities to memorize, spell words, do mathematical calculations are easily measured on written tests and slapped on us as grades on report cards. But ultimately, these intellectual abilities are what dictate which colleges accept us and what career paths we're advised to follow. However, and this is the conundrum that we're discovering, intellectual intelligence, IQ, is less important in determining how successful we become than emotional intelligence, EQ. And we all know people who are academically brilliant and yet are socially inept and unsuccessful. And what they're missing is emotional intelligence. And this will become exceedingly even more important with the advent of AI, artificial intelligence. Most human intellectual capabilities will become devalued, if not replaced entirely. The key to success in this new world and economy will be more relational than it is intellectual. And when it comes to human relationships, it will be your emotional intelligence, not your intellectual intelligence, that will become your advantage. So like all change and transformations of life, the first step of improvement is awareness. To improve your EQ, your emotional intelligence, you first have to find out if you're being a jerk at work without even knowing it. Most people are operating as they are and not even realizing how they're coming off and the effect and impact that they're having on the people around them, particularly people who are given a title and put in a position of power as either the owner of the company or the leader of an organization. And with that, they are impacting and affecting the environment around them in ways they don't even realize. So here's what I suggest each person do. Perform a 360 review on yourself. We all think we know ourselves and how we show up in the world, but our perception of ourselves might be one of our greatest limitations. The effect we have on our environment and those around us could be very different than the one we think we have, or certainly the one we want. I mean, I'll confess first. One year I asked several people in my life how I was showing up to them. And I was flabbergasted by what they told me. And I was like, wow, I had no idea that I was doing that. I thought I was behaving one way, but I was being perceived and received completely different than I imagined. At first I was hurt, defensive, right? Then, this is obviously back in my low EQ years, but after receiving the same response more than once, I knew that I was busted. And then I realized why I was having difficulty advancing in certain areas of my life. And this could be happening to many of the people listening without you even knowing it. While it might be scary and possibly a painful process, it might break you through to what might be holding you back from your greater potential. This emotional intelligence growth that you need to have when you are being put into positions of leadership. And because of my upbringing, growing up without a mother, having a father who was a bit of an unfeeling Neanderthal, I had to work on this emotional intelligence stuff a lot harder than most, okay? So what I can tell you is because I had to, and I had to so much, it has become one of my great advantages in being able to relate, connect with, and positively influence, lead, and mobilize others into action. And it's the reason why I put together the Hero's Journey curriculum, to pass on my learning adventure and what it takes to grow into an emotionally intelligent 21st century modern leader. I can tell you, it's not otherwise taught succinctly out there. I looked for it. I had to curate the industry of it. I looked for training to try to help my team with it. There are just bits and pieces out there, but most of it is more confounding than it is helpful. So what I did is I distilled my 30-plus journey into a complete development framework, one that somebody can follow step by step. 42 different modules, 42 different mentoring sessions. It takes place over a year-long learning adventure to develop into, because it's not an intellectual pursuit, it's an emotional growth adventure into a highly skilled leader in this new work culture in modern society.
So, DarrenDaily friends, are you up for the challenge? Conducting a 360 on yourself? Here's how. Ask at least 3 to 5 people to answer these questions. Number 1, tell me at least one way in which I show up, behave, or communicate that may come off as negative, off-putting, dismissive, or disrespectful. Number 2, what are nonverbal cues, facial expressions, body language, etc., that I might not be aware of that might be creating a negative impression or making others feel uncomfortable? And number 3, what is one area where you believe I can improve my emotional intelligence or self-awareness to enhance my relationships and results? And you can start by first turning these questions on yourself and answering them. First, in your DarrenDaily journal, and if you are courageous enough, in the comments below. It's a very empowering process. So let's see who's up for it.